Hey, everybody. There we go. I'm just waiting for everything to hop on. I go live on both Instagram and YouTube. So just trying to make sure everything is good. I have been trying to be mindful of things happening in the world because I don't want to be posting and sharing when there's just so much going on. So I want to keep this short and sweet. I know there's a lot happening in the world. We are less than 30 days out from the election. And I was going to do a whole segment on the election, but I just decided to share small and short points. Please make sure you're registered to vote. If you are in Florida like me, please register to vote. Today's the last day to register. Also, please make sure that you read all of the policies, read everything, even consider other candidates outside of the two-party system if you feel like neither candidate meets your needs and your desires. So please read all policies. Think about the areas that are important to you, whether it's economics, if you're a small business owner, all those things. Think about family structure, think about education, think about all the things that have a direct impact on your life and things that are important to you and vote accordingly. Okay. We should be voting for policy. And I think that's important. We have to be educated voters and intentional voters because our lives literally depend on it. So I just wanted to drop that little nugget or those little nuggets, and we're gonna move on with today's topic. So this week we are talking about how to build and maintain positive relationships with colleagues, or if you are a business owner, how do you maintain positive relationships with clients? And I think this topic is very important because customer service is everything if you are a business owner, right? You want to make sure that your customers feel heard, seen, and valued. And by doing that, that makes them want to come back. So definitely prioritize customer service and just providing quality everything. If you are making a product, sometimes the if you are doing like a wholesale, you can't always control the product, but you can control everything else. So please make sure that we are providing everyone with good customer service and communicate. If the shipments are delayed, make sure you send those emails saying the shipments are delayed, the packages are delayed. Communicate is so important. And so again, for business owners, even if you have a brick and mortar as a business, making sure that you provide great customer service so that person comes back and they tell a friend to tell a friend. The best form of promotion is always word of mouth. If you have a great experience with someone with a business, you're going to want to tell your friends, your family, your other loved ones. You're going to want to tell everybody. And because they trust you and your opinion, they're going to go and expect that same experience that you was raving about, right? So just be consistent with that. And I think that's very important. And that is essential for the sustainability of your organization. Okay, now flipping it over. I talked about maintaining and building relationships with your clients and all of that, but now let's get into colleagues. I think this topic is very important because we cannot do any job by ourselves. We always have to rely and depend on others, and that is okay, right? I do think that it is important to establish expectations and to address any potential conflict or any conflict early. Um, because if you let things fester, then it's going to have a negative impact on your work and how you move forward. And it could damage the working relationship. So just be sure to address all the situations early, as well as even consider finding a mediator to help sort your thoughts out. I know for me, if I am in a situation where I'm having maybe a small conflict with a coworker, I talk to someone else first, get all of those frustrations out, and then when it's time for me to talk directly to the person, I know exactly what I want to say. I know how I want to say it, and it's going to always be professional. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to make enemies anywhere, right? But I also want to always stand up for myself. I always want to um, share my perspective so that we learn how to work together, right? We all have different work styles. I think that is the most important thing to realize. We're all different people. We all have different working styles. Excuse me, I can't talk today. We all have our own ways of doing and navigating the world, our own, all of that. So with that, our intentions may be great, but how we showcase those intentions may have a different impact. And so just reminding ourselves to um, communicate and share that. And I always say, always assume good intent. That is the number one thing. Always assume good intent from your coworkers. That is the best way to maintain and to build relationships because you want to always look at your coworkers in a positive light until they tell you otherwise. It's kind of like you trust first, and then the trust decreases as people do things that are not in alignment with what you need and what y'all discussed, right? The second part of building a relationship and maintaining those relationships with coworkers is simply following through. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you know that you have a deadline, it's a group project and a group task, and you're looking at the time and it's like, I may not meet it. Communicate that as soon as possible. Don't wait until the deadline and everyone's waiting on you. And now you have to say, oh, I'm sorry, something else came up. I was unable to do it. Now someone else has to pick up your slack, and now they may be resentful toward you because now you interfere with their schedule and the other things that are important to them and things they have to do. So you have to be mindful and know that you are not the only person. You are not the only one with a schedule. You're not the only person with families. You're not the only person with career goals. Like you have to be mindful and put yourself in other people's shoes, right? Because we complain when people do things to us, but we need to stop and think about how do we negatively, what are we doing that can negatively impact someone else? Like you have to be mindful and take ownership of that as well. So definitely communicate, establish deadlines, time frames, all those things. I know for me, I thrive in more one-on-one conversations. I am not a great group set in person, especially when it's around coworkers, because I find it that everyone wants to chime in and give their 2 cents. Whereas in those settings, I'm more the listener because if it's 10 of us, all 10 of us can't contribute to that specific topic at the time, right? And then by the time it's your turn to speak, the conversation has gone. Like the thing you wanted to say is long past, right? And so I find myself in a position where one-on-ones are important. And so I've always just kind of checked in on folks like, hey, let's go grab lunch together. Hey, are you busy? Can I come into your office or let's check in? Those are my ways of staying in touch and really building those relationships because you start to realize like, hey, once I know you personally and I know your work ethic, say if you were to do something down the line that is not in alignment with that, I tend to have a little bit more grace and compassion. And then because we establish a relationship, I can go to you later and say, hey, are you okay? What's going on? Because this happened and this not like you, right? But you can only do that when you've built a relationship, right? You can't just, if you don't know somebody, you just don't know them. You don't know what to assume. So at least if you're going to assume, and assume the best, right? Excuse me. Water is so good sometimes, y'all. Oh my goodness. Anyway, and so I really do think that it's important to have those one-on-one relationships. And it could be something small like, hey y'all, I like to go walking. Anybody want to join me on a walk? Again, going to offices, setting up Zoom or Teams meetings randomly, call, check in, text, like those are the type of things that are important. And it also establishes your character just as much as people are giving, you are giving them grace and compassion. They're going to hopefully give you the same grace because they know how you are. They know how you work. They know that you are very intentional and helpful. You're a team player, all those things. So I think that's important. Also, we have to realize that everyone has their own career goals and their own paths. So you may meet a coworker that you connect with, and then in 2 months they leave and go on to further their career. I think it's important to stay in touch with them and text here and there. Um, Continue to just, I want to choose my words wisely. You continue to make the effort. After a while, the relationship will grow, especially if that feeling is mutual, right? I've seen so many of my peers go off and travel the world and do different things, and every now and again we text each other like, hey, how's it going, how's your job, whatever. And I love that, and I feel that I wouldn't have that type of relationship if I didn't cultivate it. So that's the word I was trying to think of earlier, of you have to cultivate relationships, all relationships, whether it's relationships with your siblings, with your parents, other family members, your personal relationships. All those things have to be cultivated, and that, I feel like that goes for your coworkers as well. Again, we all are here to accomplish a similar or the same goal, so let's make the best of it, right? Let's rely on each other to get these tasks done. Let's make each other's lives easier so that we can go out and do other things that we care about, or we can hang out later, or let's hang out together and accomplish the task together just so we can get it done. So those are always the options. And again, to me, I think knowing when you have positive relationships with your coworkers, that helps you get through the day so much easier and faster, right? Knowing that you all are all on the same page. Y'all know what's going on in the office. It's like I don't like to use the term family because family means different things to different people. And sometimes that can be a little toxic, right? But instead of saying a family, you all can build that type of community. Community is so important, right? Again, when you have people who understand what you're going through, who you all can vent, you can give each other advice, you can share different whatever. Like, it's just, these are people who knows what's going on, who knows how leadership is and how things are operated and all those things. So you don't have to overly explain yourself, or you don't have to burden your loved ones with you complaining about work all the time. Or even if it's positive, right? You want to share your good experiences with your family and loved ones, as well as your coworkers. Like, our supervisor so and so, we had a great meeting today. And then the next person, yeah, I had a good meeting with them too. And I'm like, I really like them as a supervisor. They're really great. Like, those are the type of experiences that I want to have. Um, Again, I think it's important to talk to your coworkers, address any conflict or things that are uncomfortable early and often, because again, they may not know that they're offending you. They may not know that they have hurt you or they've done something. So I think it's important to always stand up for yourself, but to do it in the most professional way possible, right? You can stand your ground without putting someone else down or without raising your voice or being negative and all those things. It's just like, hey, can we chat to further discuss this matter? Can we chat? I want to make sure we're on the same page. Something as simple as that, right? We always hear the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that is key, especially in the workplace, because no matter what, you have to come back to that place. They have to come back until either you're ready to leave, you have to come back. So I think we can't talk about workplace culture and toxic workplaces and all this stuff without understanding that all of us play a role. We all contribute to whether the workplace culture is going to be positive or negative. And if your goal is to make sure it's positive, you have to have these open dialogues, right? And so, I also, when I talk about maintaining these positive relationships with coworkers, I also think about your personal and professional identity. Is a part of your professional identity to be a team player and to support others and all those things. So if you do that every day as a coworker, people are going to associate those characteristics with you. And that is important. If that is important to you as a professional to say, hey, when I leave this job, I want my coworkers to say this, and this about me. What are you doing every day to make sure that that is the case? Again, sometimes we can't control everything. Everybody does not experience you in the same way or understand why you do certain things or even agree with those things, right? But at least they can say you have never been rude to them, you've never been mean to them, you've always supported whatever they have going on. Like, make sure those things are true, right? Because relationships are so important that this relationship today can help you get a job tomorrow, right? Or they can recommend you for this they can recommend you for an opportunity, a lifetime or a life-changing opportunity, just by having that relationship connection. So, again, another saying is not always what you know, but who you know. That is so important. And you have to look at all of your relationships in that manner. Like, these are valuable people in my life who can contribute in my life, and you can contribute to their lives, right? So, I really want to remind everyone that I know some of us, we just want to do our job and leave, right? And some days you may feel like that, but also remind yourself that, hey, I still have to um, make an effort to connect with my team, to learn more about them. So when something does come up, positive or negative, we are able to discuss it, and it can be a positive experience. The last thing I want to say about building positive relationships with your coworkers is sometimes you can't freeze people in time. It is hard. We are human. We get hurt. Our feelings get hurt. Oh, we have expectations of people, and sometimes people don't meet our expectations. But we can't always freeze people in time because you don't want to be frozen in time, right? Something that you did at 20, um, you don't want somebody to hold that against you at 30 because 10 years have gone by and you've changed. You have gained so many new experiences that you want to make sure that, you know what, I don't want nobody, like, if you still look at me as a 20-year-old, that's the issue. So if you don't want that done to you, again, you have to be mindful. You have to take accountability and make sure that you are not doing that to other people. And it's hard because, again, people hurt. People make decisions. And especially if you are an executive leader, people make decisions, right? And it's for the betterment of the team, but it may have a negative impact on you directly. It does that mean that that leadership was just targeting you? 8 times out of 10, no. But again, we're human. We also have people who are navigating their own personal thoughts and all those things. So we just have to accept things for what they are and make the best out of every situation. That is the best advice that I could give. You just have to make the best out of it. So if that means, again, walk into your office, say, hey, just checking, are you good? Great. All right, I'm about to go get some to drink. I'm going to the restroom. I'll talk to you later. That small check-in may have helped someone just take a deep breath because they were having a stressful day, right? Or making it known that, hey, when my office door is open, that's when I want to socialize. If it's closed, that means I'm busy doing something. Establish some of those small cues that will help you, that will help with those verbal and nonverbal communication skills and help people understand where is everyone at in their and building the team and creating that workplace culture. So again, I thought it wasn't going to be a long video, but here we are at almost 19 minutes. So sorry. I didn't have any written down notes. And so at first, when I'm looking at my prompt, I'm like, oh, what am I going to say? I have a few thoughts, but then as I start talking, things start to flow. And I appreciate that. So, yep, that is my prompt for this week. I feel that Sundays may not be the best days for me to go live because I do homework on Sundays, and sometimes my homework takes a little bit longer than I would like, and sometimes I procrastinate and just want to relax. Sunday is literally my only day off from all of my other responsibilities, so I like to chill. So Mondays may be a little bit better for me, so just want to share that with you all. Thank you all so much. Let me figure out what our next week's topic is going to be. Let me see. I think I want to focus on. Okay, so this week we talked about building relationships. again, relying on that mediator or whether the supervisor, like let them step in and help. Um, Dang, I had them in order, but now they look a little bit out of order. Okay, describe, feed forward. A person in your life will influence you. Mindfulness, maintain. Okay, so the next week's prompt is: what techniques do you use to manage stress? Please provide examples of situations where these techniques were effective. Right. Yeah, I don't think I've done this one before. So yeah, we're gonna let me check really quick. I'm gonna make sure we talked about daily habits, feed forward. Yeah, so again, what techniques do you use to manage stress? Please provide examples of situations where these techniques were effective. And so these may be similar things to some of the previous prompts, but please share yours in the comments. I really love to, again, learn from you all. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Again, please do your due diligence, not only in the workplace, but in life. You know, do right, be right. If you make a mistake, apologize, move forward, and make sure you don't make that mistake again, right? And so I appreciate you all. For those who have been impacted by Hurricane Helene, I definitely sending out all of my love and support to you all. Also, for those who are in Florida, like myself, and other states who may be impacted by Hurricane Milton, please, y'all, stay safe. Make sure you have everything charged up. Everything, you should see my desk right now. Everything is charged. Make sure you have your water, all those things you need to weather out the storm. So I appreciate y'all. Have a good rest of the evening because it's 7:15 here, evening time, PM. So I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.